Hello, I am Ali Izzat-Kasti and I am here with the second session of the weighing equipment training. In the previous session, we became more familiar with the applications of weighing equipment in industry. Today, we are going to get to know the different types of load cells and their applications in industry in more detail. Well, today we will first look at the internal structure of load cells, and after introducing the internal structure and how load cells work, we will introduce the various different types of load cells and their applications in various industries. A load cell typically consists of a robust metal core and a specialized material called a strain gauge, which is precisely placed on this metal core. When we carefully place the sensitive strain gauge onto the robust metal core and then precisely apply an external force to this solid core, the mechanical force we meticulously apply here is accurately converted by the highly responsive strain gauge into a measurable electrical signal. Subsequently, based on this precise electrical signal, we can readily observe and monitor the subtle and significant weight changes displayed on a connected digital display unit. So, if we connect our load cell to a display and apply force to the load cell, we can see the weight value on the display. We can observe it. Now, this particular image clearly shows us how the strain gauge is precisely positioned on this robust metal core. Alright, here we can get thoroughly familiar with precisely how a load cell fundamentally works. Here we have a solid metal core. You can clearly see that 4 highly sensitive strain gauges are meticulously placed upon its surface. These 4 strain gauges, working in perfect unison, together form a complete Wheatstone bridge circuit, and this essential circuit absolutely requires an input voltage. It specifically needs a stable power supply, which we can conveniently connect to this particular point. The power supply can be between 5 to 10 volts DC. Of course, let me point out that when we connect the load cell to the weight display, there's no need for us to connect a separate power supply to it ourselves. In other words, the load cell gets this voltage from the weight display, music. So, for this load cell circuit to be activated and start working, it needs a voltage between 5 to 10 volts DC. When we connect the load cell to the weight display, it receives this voltage from the weight display. The output of this load cell is a signal in millivolts. If you look at the load cell's parameters, there's a parameter called rated. The output, which actually shows us the rate of change of the load cell's output in millivolts in SEWHA load cells, this rated output is 2 millivolts per volt. That means if our initial input voltage is just 1 volt, our corresponding output will be a mere 2 millivolts. Now let's consider a scenario where the voltage that this particular load cell receives from the display unit is precisely 10 volts DC. Consequently, our calculated rate of change, or more specifically, our resulting output signal, will actually be a significant 20 millivolts. Suppose the load cell we're using here is a 10 kilogram load cell. In the case where our load cell is unloaded, the output signal shown by the load cell is 0, but when we place the maximum load, that is 10 kilograms, on the load cell and the voltage connected to this load cell is 10 volts, our output change will be 20 millivolts. So this 10 kilogram load cell can provide us with a signal between 0 and 20 millivolts. Based on that signal it gives us, we can determine the weight value. We can precisely specify what the weight is, and when this electrical signal is effectively connected on a dedicated weight display unit, we can clearly and accurately see the precise weight value prominently displayed on the screen. So this is precisely how a sophisticated load cell system fundamentally operates and functions. Now, depending on the specific metal core material that we carefully choose for the precise load cell, and also depending on the particular strain gauge that is accurately placed on the surface of the metal core, and the way the strain gauge is positioned on that metal core, We can categorize load cells into two types: compression load cells and tension load cells, and later on we'll get familiar with the different types of these compression and tension load cells. The first load cell we're introducing today is the single point load cell. The single point load cell is a compression load cell. Well, in the SEWHA brand, single point load cells start with the letters AB. That means models like AB120C, AB120, AB130, AB140, AB250, and ABH100, all of these are single point load cells. The AB220 load cells range from 300 grams up to 3 kilograms. The AB220 load cells go from 3 kilograms up to 50 kilograms. A, B, C, D, and the C types range from 30 kilograms up to 300 kilograms. The AB140 models cover 500 kilograms and 1 ton. The AB150 load cells have a completely different design, as you can see here. As you can see, they have capacities from 5 kilograms up to 100 kilograms, as well as the ABH100. This is also a single point load cell designed by SEWHA company. This load cell also comes in capacities from 3 kilograms up to 15 kilograms. The core material of these load cells is aluminum. In load cells, we have a parameter called combined error or compound error. The combined error in SEWHA's single point load cell models, in these models it is 0.03%. When we say 0.03%, that means, for example, if the capacity of a load cell is 1,000 kilograms, in a 1,000 kilogram load cell, we have a 30-gram error. So this combined error determines the load cell's error for us. But in the ABH load cells, it is 0.02%. So here we have the load cells. A220, A230, and A240 are the specific models. To install these load cells, we need a plate. That is, there is a plate that sits on top of the load cell, and another plate is placed under the load cell, whose dimensions, these plates differ depending on the type of load cell. For the A220 load cells, the dimensions, the plate that we recommend for you is between 20 by 30 centimeters. For the A230 load cells, it's 35 by 45 centimeters. And for the A240 load cells, it's 40 by 60 centimeters. That's how it is. And here is an example of installing an A220 load cell, where, as I mentioned, a plate is placed above the load cell, and this top plate is connected by a load button to the load cell itself. The bottom plate is the same way, meaning the plate beneath the load cell is also connected to the load cell by a load button. This setup is what we call a single point load cell. This means that no matter where you apply force on this plate, it measures the total weight for you as a single value. All right, the next load cell we're going to introduce is the S-type tension load cell. We call this load cell an S-type load cell. The reason for this name is because of the shape of its metal core, which resembles the letter S in English. And that's why we refer to these load cells as S-type. The S-type load cell, and at the center of this load cell, our strain gauge is installed. These load cells are generally tension-type load cells. They are used for measuring tensile forces. But in addition to measuring tensile forces, these highly sensitive and robust load cells can also accurately measure significant compressive forces for us, providing comprehensive data. So this particular load cell is a versatile tension compression load cell. It is specifically designed to accurately measure both tensile forces and compressive forces for us. Well, in the SEWHA brand, S-type load cells start with SS or LS at the beginning of their model names. The SS300 models are those with capacities ranging from 2 kilograms up to 20 kilograms. Their bodies are made of aluminum, and from the 50 kilogram to 10-ton capacities, their code changes. They become LS300, and their bodies are made of stainless steel, meaning they are rust resistant. There is also another model called the SB210, which has a capacity from 500 kilograms up to 5 tons. The difference between this load cell and the previous ones is that this load cell has a hook on it. Well, it functions just like an S-type load cell. It shows us the measurement when we apply force. By attaching to these hooks, we can see the weight value on the weight display. For installing SS300 load cells, we need hooks, and as you can see in the image, one hook is used above the load cell and another hook below the load cell. As you can clearly see, the precise angle between these two hooks should ideally be 90 degrees, which is critically important for maintaining optimal installation safety. One crucial point I should mention about these S-type load cells is that these S-type load cells also possess the OEML standard. The OEML standard is a globally recognized standard directly related to weighing equipment. All right, the next load cell we're introducing is the bending or shear beam load cell, which in the SEWHA brand, we know these load cells by the model LB210. The LB210 load cell has a capacity ranging from 150 kilograms up to 10 tons, and its body is made of painted iron. Now, if the body is made of stainless steel, its code changes. LB210, which is offered to us as an option. That is, in environments with high humidity or where there is the possibility of washing or water exposure, it's better for us to use these LB210 models. But in dry environments, we can use the SBD110 model. Shear beam load cells from SEWHA are standard and also have IML certification. Their combined error is 0.03%. This means that in 100 kilograms, it has a measurement error. Shear beam load cells, we can install them in two ways. This is our first method. In the first method, we can use a load cell base. We screw the load cell base onto the load cell itself. And from this particular side, we can effectively apply force, as clearly exemplified by the careful installation of this specific load cell right here. In fact, this entire setup is located within a bustling chemical production plant, and as you can readily observe, each individual tank within this facility consists of 4 sturdy legs. Directly underneath these substantial legs, we have meticulously placed our highly accurate SB210 load cells, ensuring precise weight measurement. Ultimately, these 4 individual load cells are all seamlessly connected together to a central summing box, also commonly referred to as a junction box. From this essential summing box, a single unified output signal is then carefully taken and subsequently connected to a dedicated weight indicator, which is a crucial device. This comprehensive arrangement allows us to clearly and accurately see the precise weight contained inside these large tanks, displayed prominently on a clear digital display. This final part of the system specifically pertains to the essential weight indicators, which provide the critical measurement readings. The second method we can consider for installing shear beam load cells is the use of mounting. The mounting consists of a plate that sits on top of the load cell and a plate beneath the load cell. This plate underneath is attached to the load cell itself by these 2 screws, and here a robust load button is precisely used, and this sturdy top plate is directly connected to our sensitive load cell itself, and we meticulously apply the external force to this specific part. The next significant load cell I will comprehensively introduce to you is prominently among the various bending load cells. But these load cells are commonly referred to as bending beam load cells. In the SEWHA brand, we know these load cells by the code LBB200, and they are available in capacities from 10 kilograms up to 500 kilograms. The body of these load cells is made of stainless steel. Their combined error is also 0.03%. The difference between these bending beam load cells and shear beam load cells is as follows. These are the distinct grooves that you can clearly see here, and these precisely engineered grooves are designed to effectively eliminate the significant lateral forces applied to the main body of the load cell for us. This type of load cell is usually used in conveyors or places where dynamic weighing is needed. And in fact, one of the good features of this load cell is that it has a very high frequency response. That's why we can use this load cell in dynamic weighing applications. The installation method for these bending beam load cells is similar to that of shear beam load cells. That is, we use mounting. A plate is placed above the load cell and another plate below it, and you can apply force to this section. The next load cell we are introducing is a type of compression load cell, but its shape is cylindrical, which is what we call this type of load cell. These are commonly referred to as pancake load cells, and as you can see, several strain gauges are placed on their metal core, allowing them to perform measurements. In the SEWHA brand, we introduced pancake load cells in two models, SL410 and SL420. The SL410 load cells have a capacity ranging from 1 ton to 200 tons. The SL420 load cells have a capacity ranging from 2 tons to 100 tons. Their combined error is 0.05%. That means for every 100 kilograms, there is a 50-gram error. The differences between the SL410 load cell and the SL420 load cell, it lies in the center of these load cells. In the SL410 load cell, as you can see, the center of this load cell is a hole that is threaded and the force must be applied to the center. But in the SL420 load cell, the very center of this particular load cell has a distinct protrusion, and the entire force must be precisely applied to this central point. The way these load cells are installed is that we use a mounting. A plate is placed under the load cell on which the load cell is mounted, and another plate is placed above the load cell, which is connected to the load cell itself by this load button. And when we apply force here, our applied force is effectively transmitted to the precise center of this load cell through this load button. The next load cell we are introducing to you is the miniature load cell, whose code in the SEWHA brand is SM600A. This particular load cell is a round disc-shaped load cell, and when we apply a significant amount of force to this central protrusion, it can effectively convert our applied force into a measurable electrical signal by utilizing the highly sensitive strain gauge located precisely inside here. In the SEWHA brand, we are pleased to introduce our miniature load cells, specifically those with the codes SM600A, SM601A, and SM603A. We will now proceed to meticulously introduce each of these distinct load cells separately and in detail. Our first miniature load cell is the SM600A, which has a capacity ranging from 50 kilograms up to 20 tons. The combined error percentage of these particular load cells is a remarkably low 0.15%, and from the 50 kilogram to 2 ton capacities, they are meticulously made of durable stainless steel, while from 5 tons up to 20 tons, they are instead constructed from painted iron. Our next miniature load cell is the SM601E load cell. This load cell is very small, about the size of a coin. This load cell covers capacities from 1 kilogram up to 2 tons. For the 1, 2, and 5 kilogram capacities, its output rate or rated output is about half. But for capacities from 10 kilograms up to 2 tons, the output rate or rated output is 1. The combined error of these load cells is 1%. For capacities from 1 kilogram to 10 kilograms, the material is aluminum. For capacities from 20 kilograms up to 2 tons, the material is stainless steel. And finally, our very last miniature load cell, the SM600-3A model, is presented here. As you can clearly observe, this particular load cell is inherently a tension type load cell, and consequently we can effectively utilize it to accurately measure various tensile forces, providing precise and reliable data for numerous applications. The next load cell we are introducing to you is the canister load cell or cylindrical load cell. This particular load cell is carefully made of a metallic material that is precisely shaped like a cylinder. The sensitive strain gauge is accurately placed at the very center of this cylinder, and when we apply an external force to the prominent protrusion on the load cell, it can effectively measure the weight for us. You all In the SEWHA brand, we introduced canister load cells with the codes SC520 and SC5030. The SC520 load cells have a capacity ranging from 200 kilograms to 20 tons, and the SC530 load cells have a capacity from 20 tons up to 800 tons. Their combined error, which is a significant factor, depends on their specific work class type, which can be either Class A or alternatively Class B. For SC520 load cells, if their class is A, their error is 0.02%, but if their class is B, their error is 0.05%. For the 530 load cells, their combined error is 0.15%. The metal material of these load cells, or their main body, is carefully made from painted iron. Well, here is a clear and practical example of the installation process for robust canister load cells, which are specifically designed and precisely calibrated devices that we can effectively utilize for constructing a highly accurate and reliable weighbridge system. The next load cell we are introducing to you is the truck weighing load cell, which can be used for heavy vehicle weighbridges. The models are SB900, SB920, and SBW. The SB900 and SBW models also have the OIML standard. The SB900 model has a capacity ranging from 10 tons to 30 tons. Its combined error is 0.03%. Their robust body is meticulously crafted from painted iron. The significant difference between these particular load cells and other conventional load cells available on the market is that these specific load cells inherently come equipped with their own integrated mounting mechanisms. This means that when you purchase this specific load cell, it already includes the necessary mounting components, so you do not need to acquire the mounting separately. The SB920 load cells have capacities ranging from 25 tons up to 100 tons, although the 100-ton capacity is available as a special order. The SBW load cells have capacities from 25 tons up to 50 tons. The company manufactures the 25-ton and 30-ton capacities, but the 50-ton capacity is available only as a special order. The combined error of these load cells is 0.02%. The SB920 load cells have a painted iron body. However, the SBW load cells are specifically designed with a robust and durable stainless steel body. Indeed, this particular unit is an excellent example of an SBW load cell, showcasing its superior construction. As we mentioned, these load cells come with their own mounting. That means there is a plate below the load cell and a plate above the load cell, so we can apply force to the top plate. And since these load cells are often installed outdoors, what you see here is specifically called a lightning arrestor. If lightning ever strikes the very top part of this mounting, it will be safely conducted by this specialized wire you see here to the bottom plate. And since the bottom plate is securely grounded, it can effectively and safely discharge the lightning for us. The next type of load cell we're going to introduce are tension load cells. We can use this type of load cell in elevators, cranes, and hoists. This load cell is mainly used for overload situations, not for measuring weight. In other words, it's mostly used in cases where we need to know if the load exceeds a certain limit, and in such cases we can use this type of load cell. The robust wire rope passes smoothly through this precise load cell, and when it is carefully pulled, it can accurately measure the exact tension in the cable for us. As you can clearly see here, this particular load cell is equipped with a robust chain, and by utilizing this strong and durable chain, we can effectively and securely install the load cell in its intended position. In the SEWHA brand, we proudly introduce our cable tension load cells, specifically with the code SWL100, which possess a versatile capacity ranging from a substantial 500 kilograms up to a significant 10 tons. The combined error of these load cells is 2%, and as we mentioned earlier, these load cells are mainly used for overload protection, not for weight measurement. This is because their error is higher compared to other load cells, and that's why we use these load cells specifically for overload applications. Their body is also made of painted iron. The next load cell we are introducing is a tension load cell, which is designed for tensile forces. There are two shackles at the top and bottom, which greatly increase the safety of the operation. In the SEWHA brand, we introduced tension meter load cells, or tension load cells, with the code ST800A, which are available in capacities from 10 tons to 50 tons. Their combined error is a mere 0.03%, and their robust body is meticulously made of painted iron. SEWHA company has specifically designed a series of advanced load cells, aptly called explosion-proof load cells, which can be reliably used in very special and highly sensitive environments. These robust explosion-proof load cells come in various different models. Specifically, they offer both CLS and SLS models, which are specialized Pancake load cells that are designed to operate safely in explosion-proof environments. They range in capacity from 500 kilos to 30 tons, and the difference between the CLS and SLS models is in the type of metal used. The CLS is made of painted iron, while the SLS has a stainless steel body. The next explosion-proof load cell we can use is among the single-point load cells, which we can introduce with the BCLS code, and they have capacities ranging from 10 kilograms to 100 kilograms. Their combined error is 0.03%, and their body is made of stainless steel. The next load cell is also among the single-point load cells. It's the CBCS model, and the appearance of the load cell is like this. Its body is made of stainless steel. It has a capacity from 150 kilograms up to 500 kilograms, and its combined error is 0.03%. Our next explosion-proof load cell is one of the shear beam load cells, or what are also called bending load cells, with the code CBSS. It has a capacity ranging from 500 kilograms up to 5 tons. Its combined error is 0.03%, and its body is made of stainless steel. The next load cell is a bending beam load cell, which is explosion-proof. Its code is CHBS, and it has a capacity from 20 kilograms up to 500 kilograms. Its combined error is 0.03%. Its body is made of stainless steel. And among the truck weighing load cells, the RPWB load cell has a substantial capacity that ranges from a minimum of 10 tons up to a maximum of 30 tons, while simultaneously maintaining a combined error of merely 0.03%, ensuring highly accurate measurements. Thank you for your attention.